Hey guys, to happy, incredible Monday. I know probably most of you feel like you have to answer so many emails after the weekend, but today we're gonna have an incredible guest, a speaker in this group, and I want you to tune in. And if you have questions, just remember, just type in the chat and I'm gonna be reviewing the chat as well. So if you have any questions for our incredible guest, please make sure that you share those questions with us. And first, the primary thing that I wanted to say is to say welcome, because you are an incredible and amazing group where you're gonna be completely level up and start becoming a servant leader. So right now, if you do you feel that your employees seem lazy or unmotivated? Do you feel wonder what makes them that way? If so, you want to get to know George Nagler, who is in a mission to bridge the gap between Western and the Philippine culture to improve employee efficiency and productivity. George lived and breathed Philippine culture after moving there with his wife Narisa in 2019. So he's been quiet, living in the Philippines for a while. A serial entrepreneur, he has been open so many businesses. George has created several businesses, including A1 Speedy Home, Appliances, Core Computing. Since 2018, he's running a successful coaching practice. George has been finding many gaps between Western and Philippine cultures, and that actually they need to address to create a better world for companies, owners, and their Filipino workers. So please join me and welcome George Naglin. Welcome, George.
Thank you for the amazing introduction, Candy. I'm so pleased to be here. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Wow, what a warm welcome. Amazing, holy. I'm honored, and yes.
No,
So
absolutely. I'm so happy to be for you here. So I just wanted to say welcome, Nick, George. You has been in my inner circle for almost a year. Can you believe this? It's incredible. And if that wasn't for Richmond, we won't be here talking.
exactly, yes,
That's really
um,
awesome.
yes. Richmond is definitely a servant leader, and he's teaching us the same. The same. Um, I have to say that this business has been quite a bit different than my first two. It's more heart centered and it's about just creating a better world. Um, yeah,
Wow, creating it. So what made you decide to become a business owner or an entrepreneur?
it was in my genes, I think, because I remember going to school, elementary school, in a suit and tie. And I felt like Rudolph because everybody laughed and called me names. But I still had that vision of becoming a businessman. I only knew businessman with a suitcase. I don't know, maybe I'd seen it on a TV or on a TV cartoon or something. That's who I wanted to be. Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
so that's
that is
elementary school.
elementary school. That was like 10 years, right?
Yeah, 25.
So, George, tell me a little bit more about you. What gets you here? What is the best part of owning your own business?
The best part of owning my own business is the freedom. Um, True freedom for me is doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, and how you want it done. So it means living where you want, not having to be stuck in one place, and being free to learn, grow, and serve the best in the community, or look for the gaps in society to help make the world a better place. So traveling to the Philippines. It's a long story. I won't get into it now, but something brought me here. And like I said, being here for 3 years, I truly see a big gap. And I think that we can make a better place for so many people, not just Filipinos, but eventually it'll just be all teams. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit more about George, about your priorities. You think, when we start a corporation, we get
Mhm.
this excitement. We get this also thing that feel like, oh my God, I wanted to become a leader, and now the CEO. Now what? You have your list of priorities, and then things change. What happened when you started? When it actually changed? What was the transformation point that make you think that you need to actually develop your leadership skills?
Um, well, first off, I have to say that for an entrepreneur or a business owner, um, whether it's small business and or even large corporations, it's actually their team that is the most important part of their business. Most people will say it's the customers. Yes, the customers give money, but if you have a team that is running 100% and they believe in vision, mission, and the values of the company, and they understand what the result they're supposed to get, and you connect with them so they can see how they fit into the company, that company will skyrocket. So for me, some of the businesses I had, I failed very much so as a leader. I was doing my best with what I knew at the time. But after having sold my company and not working for 3 years, I had lots of time to reflect. And what I discovered is more or less what I just told you. So for, new owners, medium owners, like, medium-sized businesses, even large businesses, revisit your vision, mission, and values. That's going to be the cornerstone and or the rudder for your ship for your business. Live and breathe it. It should be the destination.
Yeah, the destination. That's really important. So what was the biggest challenge that you have with during this journey? How many years you been as a leader?
Over 30 years now. Biggest challenges, I would say understanding people, becoming more soft. Um, there's an analogy, a potato and an egg. If you boil them in water, one will make one soft and the other one will make it hard, even though it's the same struggles and or the hot water. We have a choice. We can either become a potato or a hard-boiled egg. I personally chose to be a potato and to be more soft and kind and understanding, more empathetic, more sympathy, but I think more so empathetic because everybody has their own struggles. Doesn't matter if you're the top CEO of a Fortune 500 company or just the janitor. Everybody has problems, and we really need to connect with them because the janitor is super important in a company as well.
Yes.
Otherwise, there'd be dirt all over the floor.
Exactly. That's totally true because I remember a few months ago I posted something in LinkedIn where the Harvard Business Review they actually post something about to become more empathized. That's what people look from a really true leader, and that's the
Yes,
most challenges that people have to actually have some empathy with the people that they work, especially a team.
yes. Well, everybody needs to feel that they belong and that they are part of the team. Again, there's all different levels. Some people do more, some people do less, but it's the combined effort that actually makes the result. The combined effort makes the result. It's
What
not
do
just
you
one or two.
So what do you mean the combined effort?
Well, if a company has a building, for example, they have an office without, like I said, without the janitor, without the secretary, without the salespeople, without the production people, if you're doing products, it's the combined effort that creates the end result, always. Because, for example, I'm going to go back to the janitor because, like I said, for me, it's like they're all important. If there's no janitor, they're not doing their job properly. The place doesn't look good. Customers walk in, and it's like, wow, what kind of place is this? You know. So right away, they don't have a good reputation.
Yes, yes, exactly. There are so many things that I actually I have been talking with some few CEOs, and they actually have been as a leader for so many years, but they have
Mhm.
lost so many businesses, and they still like not thinking on a way that they actually need somebody to walk them through the process. Do you think a mentoring, a coaching is very important to be a successful leader?
Um, well, first off, I have three main coaches and 100 other coaches. So, do I believe in coaching? Yes. I think, especially if somebody's been in business for a long time, they get this idea in their head that they already know everything and they become very independent, kind of like a lone wolf. Okay. And a lone wolf will never survive because it needs a pack. So the short answer is when a person's been in business for a long time, they think they know everything. And when you think you know everything, you stop learning. And when somebody stops learning, they stop growing.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
as a leader, Judge, what will be one of the best strengths that a leader need to have? You know, for those folks who are actually watching right now, or maybe they're recording, what do you think is will be the number one top strength that they need to have?
I would say, well, I have to say two.
Okay, go
uh,
ahead.
one would be empathy, and the second would be having an open mind. Apple did not say think differently or Steve Jobs didn't come up with it think differently for no reason at all. He actually took Apple to the top of all companies because he thought differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he thought differently.
So he had an open mind. So it's about being open to receive new ideas and not just having the blinders on because life is dynamic, very dynamic. It's not one way.
Yes. Yeah, I remember
Yes.
when I started leading, it was the same way. We actually, I actually, I thought that I can be the Mr. Candid Orchestra. I can play all the instrument, I can sing at the time, but actually burn myself, and I have to actually learn to ask for help. And I believe that's super critical for us to be successful. So I would say, for example, if you have to ask me what will be one thing strength as a leader you need to have, is to have a really, really good and incredible desire to make
Yes.
a difference.
Yes.
That will be my
Uh,
thing.
yes. Again, like again when we are talking mission, vision, and values, but they're also discovering why. Why is it that I'm doing this? For what reason? What is it that really um, what's really driving me? And with with my clients, when I take them through the journey, I really drill them, make their ears bleed until they actually find out why. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen, it normally always comes down to love. That's why they're doing it. Love of self, love of those around them, which is it took me a while to, it took quite a few people to go through that, but that was the common theme for most business owners. It was love. It was love for their families, love for themselves, it's love for the community, it's love for just people in general. They just want to make a difference. So I think that's why entrepreneurs are as crazy as we are. We change the world,
Yeah, we
truly.
do.
Yeah.
We really do. So how that make you feel like you start one business and then you sold it, you start another one, then you sold it. Now you are into this business coaching with the Philippine culture. So what made you feel like, okay, I'm gonna close this chapter, I'm gonna start a new one? What was the mindset that you have at that moment?
Well, that's a great question, by the way. If I reflect back, at the time we were doing computers and computer repairs, but there was something deep inside me that wanted to do something much greater and to help humanity more versus just selling computers and fixing them. So I remember there was a time when I was sitting at my desk and I had hired a coach and I was learning leadership as in creating position agreements for employees and getting them to understand and enable or in empowering them to make their own decisions. Part of my assignment was to put a sign on my door so I could do the work. And I remember the whole week, it was so busy in my office. Every 15 minutes, somebody was
Wow.
coming in, even though the sign wasn't there. Like, this person wants $2 off. Hey, this person's mad. It's like, my God. So for a whole week, I got nothing done. And then the final D Day came, the phone call from the coach. It was like 30 minutes just prior. And I just remember it's like my head is spinning and I'm like dizzy, dizzy, dizzy. I remember putting my head on my desk and I had been learning personal development. And I just remember it says, everything's okay, George. Everything's okay. You just breathe. So I'm breathing in, breathing out. And then finally I calmed myself down enough and it was time for the call. My extension rang. I picked up my extension, and because that's the old days when we didn't have Zoom meetings, it was a phone call. And I remember my coach said to me, "How's it going, George?" And I said, "Well, I didn't do any of my assignment. I was so embarrassed about myself, really, really embarrassed that I couldn't get it done." And and then I started telling her from my heart what was really happening. Like, I can't get any work done. I was basically crying on the phone. And then there was this long pause after I finished talking. And she said to me, "Sounds like you need a therapist." And I'm thinking to myself, huh? How could I need a therapist? Like, this is business stuff. Like, I don't understand. So at that moment, or maybe not at that moment, just after that moment, it's like I wanted to be. Well, actually, I have to back up on the story a little bit. After she said that, I asked her this question. I said to her, "Have you ever owned a business?" And she said, "No." And I says, "Okay. So if you've never owned a business, how do you know what it's like to sit in this chair? The emotions, the roller coaster, because being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. There's highs, there's lows. Like, I mean, wow." So anyway,
Yes.
she said, "No." And then I'm thinking, well, how can you tell me how I should be and that I need therapy? So it was after that I wanted to be that servant leader that understands what a business owner's doing sitting in their chair, the thoughts, the emotions, the um, the person that to hold their hand sometime, or the shoulder to cry on, or whatever it happened to be that they needed at the time. Because there's nothing wrong with me at the time. I was just having a hard time growing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what my question was about. The next one is why is important for people always to continue growing, especially leaders?
Yes. Um, that's a great question too. Hmm. I think I'll have to use Einstein's saying for that one. And you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So if we don't grow, continually learn and grow, we're going to be stuck, and we'll be stuck at a level And again, every stage of business has a new devil at every level. We've been told that over and over and over again. And it's true. Life's like a video game. And if we, we'll like a level one, playing a video game and having a level one, you'll get a level one boss, and then you should have enough experience to defeat that level one boss. But then level two comes and it's like you play level two, now you're in a new boss. It's like, wow, this one's got different characteristics and different things about it to beat it. But then we finally beat that one. And but the levels never stop. So we need to
Yes.
continually learn and grow. And the only time that it ever stops is when we quit playing.
We quit. I love that. So what do you exactly you mean? Quit playing. Okay, playing. What do you mean quit
Yes.
playing?
Well, I see business as fun. I love what I do because I get to connect with people, and it just for me, it's amazing when I see especially the aha moments from a coaching session. Because I'm a mentor, trainer, and also a coach. But my favorite part is being the coach, because it's seeing those limiting beliefs dissolve and the people's minds changing and their whole face changes. Everything just for me, that's like heaven. That's why I do it. It's never the money; it's that part. It's like, wow, I finally made a difference.
That's totally true. It's even though that I have my team, or I don't coach all my clients because I have other coaches that help me and support me with my clients. But when they are having this struggle, especially as a leading a team, or they are actually now moving forward to what they need to do. They are procrastinating. They are not committing to what they do. This is always one thing that comes to my mind, why it is happening, right? So what and what for, right? What for?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's basically when something, it's like when you have this cocoon, you're this part of this cocoon, and you are like playing there, and you're still in the same circle, that's doing the same thing over and over, and then moving to actually become the leader that they have to be is when they don't see that there is a beauty on the other side. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it is amazing how when they have this breakthrough and they were like, oh, that's actually what it is. That's what is happening to me. That's why my personality is like this. Oh. So the
yeah.
awareness just start expanding, and it's beautiful just seeing how the leaders just becoming even better and become more aware of their things that they do every day. So it's beautiful, beautiful. So George, tell me a little bit more about, what will be one of the things that you feel like as a business owner, as a CEO of your company, you you have learned in your as experience, but you want to share with the group right now the things that you had learned, but you actually want them to prevent them to actually go through the challenge, right?
Okay. Um, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I would have to say, for me, the biggest thing would be you don't have to be alone. I remember in my business, especially the second one, when I had 17 employees, I felt like I was alone, and I became reclusive, um, kind of not a good person. It just felt like I was a machine working for everybody else. That's what it felt like.
Wow.
And the thing about being a leader is it's like, well, you heard the corporate ladder. Okay. Well, everybody is on the same ladder and they can all look up and there's somebody up there. But when you're at the top of the ladder, you look up and it's like, what am I supposed to do? There's nobody there. So it becomes very lonely sometimes. And again, like I had told you about my story, I just needed, honestly, at the time, a friend, somebody that could have empathize with me, listen to my story,
Yes.
and find out why. What is it the problem? Why was it like that? So I urge CEOs, all of them, all the way to the president. That's what my position was in this company and the last one is to don't think that you have to do it alone. Doing it alone is the worst thing. Um,
Yes.
Building a business is like climbing a mountain, and nobody would climb a mountain by themselves. You would get a team or hire a team to come with you, specialists in rigging and everything, and you would have to make sure that you trust those people with your life, because as you climb that mountain with them, you need to rely on each other.
Yes, that is a good lesson learned, and that's really important. You know something, I with my clients, when every time that they feel like, okay, can they feel alone? I feel like I have a conflict with my partner, and we're making different decisions. Now we are in trouble. We're having some huge challenges. And the first thing that comes to my mind is say, well, let's build a board of directors, because the
Yes,
CEO level is so lonely. So when you are on the top, basically the most important thing is to have a CEO members where they can help you first escalate the business, and secondly they gonna help you with the awareness on the community, and also to improve and increase income, and also helping with the making decisions so you don't have to make all the decisions by yourself. So when I
yes,
told my clients that, they were like, oh my god, this is brilliant, I gotta do this, I gotta do this now. Yeah, so it's not, yes, and especially when you are in a solo journey as a CEO, because when you're in the top, you feel, oh my god, so now what? That's why we are here in this group, is basically to give you a support, a community, because we are in a solo entrepreneur, it's like in a solo journey until we have our board of members, right, board of directors.
yes,
But it's gonna
yes.
take a while until you get those millions, 2 3 millions, and then you feel like, okay, now I'm ready to put a board of directors where I can pay them so they can actually help me and scale my business. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's important for you. If you have any questions for George, just remember, just type it. He's gonna reply to those questions. He's here to support you all the way. And if you want to connect with him, where they can connect with you, George.
Well, they can email me if they'd like. George, George dot Noggle at gmail.com. Noggle spelled November, Alpha, Uniform, Golf, Lima, Echo. No, I wasn't in the military, but I learned some. So George.Noggle at gmail.com. I do have another email, George at gni.life. Or you can look at me up on Facebook. I look like this.
So I wanna ask you my last question. So if you have to create a course for leaders, what
Mhm.
will be the book, the course written, or the course being teaching about, and what will be the main focus that you would do this course?
It's at what level of business?
A
That's what
C
I need to.
level, C level.
At the C level, well, I would first, personally, I would first start with the four pillars of life for them to make sure they understand what's important to them and ensure they're taking care of their health, their um, their loved ones, their wealth, and also about giving back. So that's where I would first start. I would make sure that they understand their vision, mission, and values. From there, create a corporate uh, why is it eluding me? Sorry.
No,
uh,
it's okay. It's okay. So the course will be, I would call it, normally it's a book, and sometimes it's a course, the
yes,
online course. But since you're the teacher, you trainers, of course, you're gonna probably have a course. So you said that it's gonna be the four pillars of wealth. Is that correct?
of life,
Of
yes,
life. Okay, of
yes.
life. So what would be the main focus for that? What would be, in one sentence?
Understanding. I'll say it in one word: understanding, because everything's about understanding first. When one
Okay.
understands where they're going, the rest is easy. business is life, just like family relation. Like they always say, it's my business life, it's my family life, it's my personal life. But you know what? They all have one word in common: LIFE, life. So it's just part of life. Business is a professional version of our spiritual journey, and our business is a reflection of us.
Wow, I completely love this. This is completely really, really awesome. I love it, George. Thank you so much. You just gave us so much gold in here for this community of CEOs and this group. And thank you so much, George, for the accept my invitation. It is anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I just want to thank you for inviting me. Again, this is amazing. Actually, this has been awesome, to be honest with you. I love it. Yeah, I just, if anybody wants to reach out, that's fine. I would be happy with that. And you and I have to talk after this too.
Excellent, awesome. So thank you guys. I appreciate you watching right now. We are gonna have this amazing guest speaker. If you are really want to become a speaker and guest speaker in this community, please reach out to me. You can just DM me or connect with my team. I will be so happy and so thrilled for you to expand and share some information because we all here together and we want to support each other. So remember, live from your heart because that's where the magic happens. Thank you, George.
Thank you.